Asked for a source to support that position, the senator cited his own decades of experience as a hunter and farmer around Henderson County and run-ins with the two species named in the bill.
That's a nice argument, Senator. Why don't you back it up with a source?
My source is that I made it the fuck up.
I live in Kentucky, which is one of the most hilariously badly run states in America. It is, the upper ranks of this state are populated by just literally the descendants of slavers. And the kind of people who would be 100% cool with slavery if it came back. To that end, there's a lot of people in Kentucky. I grew up in Ohio, where we have real farmers everywhere. If you see a farm, there's shit growing on it. It's full of cows. It's full of corn. It's full of something that people are going to eat at some point. In Kentucky, this is not always the case. Kentucky likes to jerk off farmers that aren't really farmers. You call them gentleman farmers, so that you can basically get what we call an agricultural exemption, an ag exemption for your land. So dipshit, pieces of shit, fucking cocksucking, fucking rich white guys who don't want to pay their property taxes will use ag exemptions that are for farmers in order to strip their county of much needed funds, many of which would go to actual farmers to help their children and stuff get through the day, public school, roads, things like that. They use these ag exemptions by saying that their gigantic properties are actually farms because they have like 2 fucking goats or like a patch of fucking grass that's special grass that they don't sell. It is not the primary income source for the land. The land is not used actually to make money. It is just a gigantic, sprawling, quite literally plantation in many cases that they have bought or re-gotten from somebody else. But they will still go around calling themselves farmers. These people have hands that are softer than a fucking kitten's backside and just a pussy way about them. Pick up a fucking hay bale. Are you out of your mind? They would get freaked out if they got a drop of oil on their new Carhartt from some sort of farming implement. Freaked the fuck out, panicking, pissing their pants. But in addition to that, these people basically get elected to office all the time because they're rich and they will just say shit that people agree with. The state legislators in Kentucky are some of the stupidest human beings that have ever existed. I need to cover them more often because it's like basically Friendly Jordies, but in America. Friendly Jordies, but with an American accent. This is the most Friendly Jordies segment I will ever do. It is beyond the pale. It is insane. You guys are you're going to give me a fucking complex on it. So, this guy, clickety click. We're going to get down to it. So this was written by Connor Griffin, by the way. Kentucky lawmaker wants to drop penalty for killing hawks. Conservation groups not happy. I think this was rewritten, by the way, to add that conservation groups not happy, because I feel like I saw a different version of that title. Beautiful hawk. Hawks are everywhere in Kentucky. Hawks should be everywhere on Earth. If you don't know this, prey animals overbreed intentionally. It's a survival mechanism. That survival mechanism does not go away if there are no natural predators in the area. It is to the benefit of all prey animals to have predators in their area because it keeps their populations down. It makes they're built for it. I don't even have to get deep into it. They're built for it. They are built to be hunted. It is not a non-symbiotic, it's a very symbiotic thing. You need hawks in an area to keep populations of small rodents and other small animals down. It's just a natural thing. We have hawks in our neighborhood, and we still have almost too many squirrels, but we don't have a lot of all of the other things. You do not have shitloads of raccoons breaking into your trash cans every night. You do not have all sorts of pest animals creating gigantic colonies in your backyard because we also have owls, but we have hawks and we have owls, and they eat those things, and those things get scared. And they live the normal life they're supposed to live in dens and burrows, being eaten, and the strong ones survive and make babies, and some of the babies get eaten. It's sad, but true. Very important part of all ecosystems. For a long time, people would hunt down hawks and stuff because they got mad because the hawks would eat chickens. Because people are too stupid to keep their chickens not under something that hawks can't get through. Very simple. So they'd kill all the hawks, and then they were stunned, absolutely bamboozled, befuddled, that their fucking corn crop or whatever, or their neighbor's corn crop, would be fucking annihilated by mice. Just destroyed. Because a hawk gets up every day and eats a mouse. A mouse every day. 365 mice a year. Maybe 2. You know what I'm saying? They eat a lot of fucking food. And each one of those things is a thing that's not going to be breeding again and is not going to be eating all of your shit. It is profoundly important to keep raptor populations especially high throughout the world because raptors will naturally die off on their own. They're predators. They go away before the prey animals do because the prey animals will always outhide the predators to some extent. And then the predators will fight each other for food. And then their numbers will go down naturally. You do not have to hunt down predators. You just have to not go into their areas and fuck up their food sources. It's like literally hyper basic ecology type shit. Okay? If there's a problem bear, you can shoot the problem bear. But generally just leave them the fuck alone. Otherwise, like in Ohio, you get excessive white-tailed deer populations to the point that when I was a kid in Ohio, we had a permanent no-tag whitetail season, 3 months for years because there needed to be such a bad white-tailed deer call because the deer were starving to death and getting diseased because they had no natural predators other than the 2007 Dodge Durango, which does not eat enough deer per day to keep the deer levels to a reasonable low. So hawks especially were a decreasing species throughout the area where I live. The Ohio River Valley is basically like where I am. You know, Louisville, Cincinnati, all the way out even as far as like Owensboro, where this dipshit that we're going to talk about is from. Hawk populations are especially important because this entire area, this entire region is agrarian. And especially up in Ohio, this isn't even a conversation because this is free fucking pesticide. There's no real good anti-fucking rodent pesticides. All fucking farmers will tell you the best way to kill a fucking mouse is to get whatever the fuck eats mice in your area. That's just the truth. Snakes, cats, birds, whatever the fuck. And this dipshit wants to get rid of the rail-tail hawk. We're going to hop into this. A Kentucky lawmaker is seeking to remove penalties for the killing or capture of 2 protected species of hawks, drawing the ire of conservation groups. And it should draw the ire of everybody. Under Senate Bill 59, sponsored by Senator Gary Boswell, R. Owensboro, killing red-tailed hawks or Cooper's hawks would draw no fines or penalties in Kentucky, and the state's Department of Fish and Wildlife Resources would be prohibited from taking enforcement action. Both species are currently protected by federal law. So it's, first off, it's a bad law to pass. Because it's like, I think it says this under here. It's like $500 to kill one of these animals under Kentucky law. His whole thing really is trying to prevent enforcement action, is basically trying to prevent the Department of Wildlife and stuff from telling on you, because the feds don't give a fuck. The federal fine is $15,000 for certain types of hawks. Multiple thousands of dollars. They'll fuck your life up. A whole car. It's really easy not to kill a hawk. They're in the fucking sky. You have to go out of your way to kill a fucking hawk. So don't do it. Both species are currently protected by federal law. Regulations in Kentucky and neighboring states also prohibit killing hawks, with multiple state wildlife agencies pointing to their importance for ecosystems and agriculture as a form of pest control. Boswell said the 2 species are overpopulated in Kentucky and pose an outsized threat to smaller animals, including songbirds, game birds, rodents, turkeys, farm chickens, and cats. In a Facebook post, because he's a billion years old, we'll see a picture of him soon, he said one constituent reported his cat was taken away by a hawk in his front yard in the city of Owensboro in front of his young son. A horrifying event. Hawks are truly the blackfellas of the sky. Oh, you think that's a joke too far? Well, you'll see. You'll see. This story goes deep. I'm not looking to go out and kill all the hawks. I'm not looking to go out and kill all the hawks, Boswell told the Courier-Journal. I love hawks, but there's too many. By the way, if you're not from Kentucky and you don't know, people like to talk a lot of shit about Eastern Kentucky, Harlan County, all that shit, coal country. The shittiest, stupidest fucking human beings in Kentucky are all out in the western chunk of it. Just any fucking senator, state senator, whatever, that makes their home in Owensboro, if you just see, like, they're from or around Owensboro, just understand, it's going to be one of the stupidest human beings you've ever heard open their mouth. The center of Owensboro has the Mitch McConnell Plaza. I had to go there for a job one time. I'm not even going to get into it, but that interview was nightmarish. The bill's filing drew quick condemnation online and from local environmental groups, including the Louisville Audubon Society, which came to the defense of the iconic bird species in a letter to Boswell. These raptors play crucial roles in maintaining the balance of our ecosystems by controlling populations of rodents and other small animals, the letter said. By regulating their numbers, they help prevent outbreaks of diseases and reduce crop damage caused by these animals. I don't know why I said that weird. Brainerd Palmer Ball, a Kentucky ornithologist, that's a bird scientist, said the legislation is so ignorant as to not even give it a second. Also, look at these fucking boys. We have a hawk in my neighborhood. He's my favorite dude ever. He scared me twice in my life. I think there's multiple of them. When it's like mating season and stuff, you can hear him screaming. By the way, the red-tailed hawk, which are these hawks, their scream is the eagle scream that they use for eagles, even though eagles can't sound like that. Fucking great. I have a video, if I can ever find it. I have a video of a fucking red-tailed hawk taking a squirrel out literally right in front of me. The coolest shit I've ever seen. I was just there and I just see, fwap, and he got him. I was like, holy fuck. What? And I was just looking, and this hawk is like 15 feet maybe total away from me, looking at me with his wings up, killing this fucking squirrel in front of me. Then he left with it. The most Joe Rogan moment of my life. If I ever get on Joe Rogan, I'm telling that story, and he's going to be, dude, you know, hawks are the chimpanzees of the sky. Both red-tailed and Cooper's hawks have enjoyed protected status across the United States for decades after their addition to the Migratory Bird Treaty Act in 1972. Despite the problems they may cause, hawks and owls provide important benefits and environmental services, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, as they hunt and kill large numbers of rodents, reducing crop damage and other problems. And states across the country, including Kentucky, have their own protections on the books, empowering state agencies to take enforcement action against those who kill or capture protected species. Yeah, right here. The Kentucky law calls for a fine of between $100 and $500 and up to 6 months imprisonment for killing one of the birds. Federal protections bring fines of up to $15,000 per bird and up to 6 months imprisonment. If you are in Kentucky and your neighbor kills a red-tailed hawk, you can get money. Hey, my name's Saul Goodman. Did you know you have rights? You can call. Hold on, I almost got that. My name is Saul Goodman. Did you know you have rights? You could call the cops on your neighbors and get them put in jail for up to 6 months for killing a Cooper's hawk. Do it. You say you love animals? Go and spy on your neighbors in Owensboro, Kentucky. You fucking get somebody cracked with a $15,000 fine. Videotape it. Imagine how good it feels. You see the federales show up. If you rat on the rat killer, you are the fucking super rat. All right? If you fucking take out a hawk, hawks kill rats. That means you're pro rat. Super rat. Fuck you. These birds are extremely beneficial, says the Ohio Department of Natural Resources, of the red-tailed hawk, and it is illegal to kill them. Hey, stupid. Don't kill the good bird. They're best boys. I just have to show you again. This fella, this dude, this pal, this is a guy. All right? It's a dirty job, but he's going to do it. Look how pretty he is with his big speckled chest looking around. Oh, sick. Both the red-tailed hawk and the Cooper's hawk are listed Oh, hold on a second. My bad. Habit degradation and free-ranging cats are a far greater threat to raptors, to songbirds, and game birds, according to a publication of the Missouri Department of Conservation. And killing raptors could actually hurt populations of birds, since raptors help control rodents and other small animals that prey on ground-nesting birds. Super obvious. Domestic cats being released. Domestic cats are fucking horrible for the environment. Do not put your fucking cat outdoors. And if you do, and you don't fucking spade and neuter it, I'm going to find you in your dreams. I'm the actual Hat Man, and I will stare at you until the fucking sleep paralysis demon shows up and suffocates you into a fucking permanent nap time. Okay? Do not do that. It's not good for the cats. It's not healthy for them. Spade them, neuter them. Catch and release. Every time. Cats are highly opportunistic hypercarnivores. They are obligate hypercarnivores. They have to eat a fuckload of meat all the time. Once they're outside, they are eating. All those cats that you see walking around outside. Oh no, he comes up and gets kibble. He likes your kibble. He also eats whatever the fuck he finds. That doesn't mean that he's a good hunter. That just means if he climbs a tree where the fucking birds are, he'll knock the goddamn eggs out and eat them. And then we have like 6 less robins in the neighborhood. Do not let your fucking cats outside. Also, hawks do disappear cats and small dogs. I don't care. If a hawk eats your chihuahua, I think that's awesome. Because no dog should be able to be picked up by a fucking hawk. We need more hawks to get rid of the shitty dogs. I'm about that and a half. I wish I could train owls to specifically fucking hunt Pomeranians. I would do it. I would do it in a heartbeat. Hear that little fucking getting quieter. This is a day where you wake up, all the dogs are fucking based. Big fellas. Big dudes that go out and get stuff. Hey man, I picked up a stick. It weighs like 15 pounds. You based little motherfucker. I love you. Come here. I don't have to bend all the way down. The eyeballs on the fucking dog aren't fucking squelched out of the side because its skull is fucking a quarter the size it needs to be. Thing's shuddering. Doesn't have any thoughts. Its brain has been crushed. Got a Doberman-sized brain and a fucking Doberman pincher. Any dog that makes that noise, stepped on. That's not animal abuse. That's fixing a right. That's righting a wrong. Those things shouldn't exist. Sam doesn't like that. Boswell conceded that cats and habitat losses are a serious issue for bird populations, but said hawk overpopulation poses a bigger threat. Asked for a source to support that position, the senator cited his own decades of experience as a hunter and farmer around Henderson County and run-ins with the 2 species named in the bill.
That's a nice argument, Senator. Why don't you back it up with a source?
My source is that I made it the fuck up.
Literally true. Oh my god. They don't have any natural predators. Tell me that fucking voice is wrong. This is Don Knotts ass motherfucking white hair. I don't trust anybody whose hair gets that white. Fucking. He's that tan and his hair's that way. What a weird looking dude. Suspicious. Fucking beady-eyed motherfucker. He's actually a gigantic rat in fucking people skin. That's why he's trying to take the hawks out. They don't have any natural predators, Boswell said. And I know the biologists may say they do, but they don't. I'm out here.
That's a nice argument, Senator. Why don't you back it up with a source?
My source is I made it the fuck up.
Both the red-tailed hawk and Cooper's hawk are listed as apparently stable in population for Kentucky, according to NatureServe's current conservation status data. But in every state bordering Kentucky, the Cooper's hawk is deemed vulnerable by the organization's assessment. A dangerous precedent. Officials from the state's Department of Fish and Wildlife Resources had little to say about the bill, and Boswell said he did not speak with officials from the department before filing the legislation. We just discovered the bill when it was filed, just like the general public. Lisa Jackson, a spokesman for the department, said in a statement, "This is not an initiative of the department." Jackson also pointed to existing federal age regulations, adding, "In cases where a protected bird species is causing damage, such as instances of black vulture depredation on livestock, lethal control measures require a federal permit and should be considered a last resort after non-lethal deterrents have been tried." Look at this fucking guy. Even if Boswell's bill passes, killing a hawk would remain a violation of those long-standing federal protections, which based as shit. Tremendously based. Profoundly based. Jesus Christ. The Kentucky Resources Council, in a recent statement of its positions on various environmental bills in the new legislative session, opposed Boswell's bill, saying its contradiction with federal protections might result in confusion and result in individuals violating and being prosecuted under federal law. I'm trying to, at the very least, send a message that Kentucky, we should be in charge of our own laws regarding wildlife, Boswell said. The message that you are effectively sending is that we should not be in control of our own laws about wild. Literally, as a lawmaker, you have proven we are incapable of electing people that should have any control over the laws regarding wildlife. It's actually, this dude doesn't understand. He's one of the most profoundly stupid human beings on the planet. Which is fucking awesome. He probably thinks he is. He's got grandkids and shit. We love you, Grandpa. People that he's like paid, whatever. Wow, you're one of the smartest guys I know. Dumb fuck. You're a dumb fuck. Boswell, you're a fucking moron. You should be ashamed of yourself for saying this shit in public. How fucking stupid are you? A scientist. Direct line. Jesus fucking Christ. He added he intends to meet with hunting and agriculture groups to gain support for the bill, including the Kentucky Farm Bureau, which he said had not given an official position as of Monday. You stare at him like this if they have any fucking brains in their head. What? The bill has been assigned to the Senate Natural Resources and Energy Committee, which is fucking... In its letter to Boswell, the Louisville Audubon Society called on him to withdraw the bill, which the group said would set a dangerous precedent by suggesting that our state is willing to compromise the well-being of its wildlife for short-term gains, which are also just no gains at all. It's quite literally just the same thing that comes up. This is just you're going to see this more and more, especially in red states like the one that I live in. I've got some other additional sources for this that are just funny bonus content. But you're going to see this more and more often, especially in red states, anywhere where Republicans are in charge, because we have passed the point where all attempts for Republican versions of economic policies could remotely possibly have a chance to work. We've done all of them. We have done every single Republican fucking policy except for the one that's basically like literally the country slits its throat and watches its blood pool in the fucking street. Aside from that one, take the country apart and allow every state to secede. You should just be whipped across the face a few times with a chunk of fucking garden hose for saying that in public. I swear to God, it's one of the stupidest things I've ever heard. But aside from that, all of the other attempts at Republican economic engineering, city planning, economic planning, ecological planning, agricultural planning, everything that Republicans bring their version of logic to is an absolute failure. Usually within years, especially now that America no longer has the buffer of an already good economy. Just every time Republicans do anything, everything falls apart. So they are out of being able to lead. Also, they've put themselves all in a position where they have to exist under a contradiction of the government shouldn't be here and we shouldn't make laws. However, I have been elected as a lawmaker, which is fucking wild between you and me, that either I ran for this or you voted, given what we all believe in. So what you're going to see is them doing dumber and dumber nonsense things, especially as the well of social fucking, like, you know, what do we call it? Culture war bullshit and like social faux pas based cringe politics, as that dries up, they're going to have nothing left. The reason transgender shit has been hit so hard is because it was the last big icky that the Republicans could think of that did not directly affect things that they enjoy doing. The cats, you know, Pandora's box is opened on gay marriage permanently. And a lot of people are just 100% cool with it, and it shouldn't go away. Abortion was a weird sticking issue just because of how it was handled legislatively, judicially, whatever you want to say, in America with Roe v. Wade. Now that that's been abolished, that's first off done. You can't even talk about it as a Republican anymore. You have literally nothing to talk about because you won. You won on abortion. Congratulations. Now you can only just figure out new measures of cruelty. And unfortunately for you as a legislator, if you bring those things up, you are going to have to contend with the fact that child victims of rape who had to go get abortions so they didn't have to raise their rapist child at 11 years old will be testifying whenever you introduce additional bills on that, which you will say, and I've heard them, this is kind of unfair. So the only thing that you're going to be left with, and a lot of these dipshits that live out in these fucking rural areas who are not cowpoke, I'm a little fella, I love Christ and I love the way the sun rises over the prairie. They're not like that. These people are landowners, and they're descendants of what you would call gentleman farmers in Kentucky parlance, i.e. slave owners. People that didn't farm for themselves, but they owned farms. You know what I'm saying? I want to go a little bit deeper into Boswell. So this is Gary Boswell. This is the guy we've been talking about. Ballotpedia, trying to sell me some manly bands. I'm already wearing one. I don't know why you would try to sell me a wedding band. I'm fucking married. I have a manly band on my finger. He's a member of the Kentucky State Senate representing District 8. He assumed office on January 1st, 2023. His current term ends January 1st, 2027. He ran for election to the Senate to represent District 8. He won in the general election November 8, 2022. Tenure, 2023 to present. Predecessor, Matt Caslin. This fucking slop-eyed piece of shit. Fucking Christ. So these are the bills that this guy's passed. This is all very important, trust me. An act relating to the control, prohibit closing portions of Capitol Avenue in Frankfort, provide exceptions for emergency personnel, who knows, KES scholarships, and then if we get down here a little bit further, all of this stuff is relating to hunter education. These are the more important ones. This is a bill that says if you want to get a hunting license in Kentucky, you just don't need to know anything about hunting anymore. There's a rule right now to get a hunting license where you have to learn some basic shit about hunting. He wants to forgo that because he's a fucking idiot. What I want is some uneducated dipshits out hunting. Oh, my grandpa's been hunting his grandpa before him. Like, yeah, I know you fucking inbreeders have been breathing oxygen in this same place for a while, but that doesn't mean you know anything. You just happened to not fucking die because you're white and rich in a state that really, really, really has always fucking rewarded that. You're a fucking idiot. My son went to Harvard. You paid for him to go there. Okay, we could all go if we had a rich dad. It's not an impressive place to go into. Like all things, there is an additional lock next to the talent lock that is just made of gold. And if you have the gold key, you get to open it, no matter what. Property tax rates, he wants less property taxes, and he wants to be able to kill fucking hawks, and he wants you to be able to fish on any body of land that you own or water that you own. And they always try to get weird with water, as in like, if your fucking property goes 15 feet out into the lake, you can now just extract fish eternally from the lake. They just do not give a shit. They want you to be able to do as much damage to the environment as possible because they're fucking dipshits. I mean, the guy already proved he's a fucking moron. He said it. I'm stupid as fuck. He said it. He said it in words that he thinks makes him sound less stupid. I don't believe the bird scientists. I see things with my eyes. I looked into the sky the past Tuesday, and I saw a hawk circling a cloud out east. Who knows what it might take from the children of this land? Another cat? A small dog? No, these are all. That's the same builded dude that used to be like, all right, now you whip that one. It's a direct correlation. Hold on, we'll get to it. By the way, this is this dude's per diem every time he's doing work for this shit. $188.22 a day. Could you imagine? $188 a day to be a fucking idiot in a seat. God damn. I wish I got paid like that for being a fucking idiot in a seat. One of the worst famines in the history of the world was partially caused when the Chinese wiped out the sparrow populations in hopes they wouldn't eat the seeds. Great move. They also ate locusts. Yep, there you go. Here we go. Hancock Clarion. I think this is like the town he actually lives in. And this is the C. Waitman Taylor Historical Beauchamp Estate sold to Senator Boswell. You guys are going to shit. This one, stick in here. This one has a little bit of a twisty turn in it. If you don't know. And if you're an American, you probably don't. This is a heavy spoiler up here. There's a heavy spoiler up here, but if you don't know, you don't know. C. Waitman Taylor, historical Beauchamp estate, sold to Senator Boswell. That's this right here. Pretty unassuming building. Kentucky Senator Gary Boswell has recently purchased the entire C. Waitman Taylor property and historic Beauchamp house, Beauchamp, whatever the fuck, located at 48 State Road, Kentucky, through whatever, off Highway 60 between these places. I was very good friends with Waitman Taylor, Boswell said, and I've known his family and his sons over the years. The farm has just got so much historical value, and I was really interested in the whole tract from the very beginning. And I didn't know what was going to happen for sure. I'm very happy with the property. I think it's a beautiful tract of ground. I think it has a lot of potential for the future for some type of commercial development. Oh my God. So let me go down here. Boswell purchased the entire seaway, which includes all the tracks, including a 2-story house. This is what let me off. Boswell purchased the entire C. Waitman Taylor farm, which includes all of the tracks, including the 2-story brick house built in 1842 by Robert Costain Beauchamp, which has become a landmark in Hancock County. It is one of the very few houses built during that time period in Kentucky that is still standing. Now, we're going to do a little bit of math here, folks. If I told you a house was built in 1848 in old Kentucky, who do you think built that house? Now, did you know in old Kentucky, houses before 1864 are often not found standing in their original condition? Why do you think that might be the case? The Robert C. Beauchamp House is a historic house in Hancock County, Kentucky, located 3 miles, 4.8 kilometers for you European degenerate trash, west or northwest of Hawesville on U.S. Road 60. Its significance: the house was built in 1842 by Robert Costain Beauchamp, a highly successful gentleman farmer and businessman. He was one of the first men to introduce the plantation system with a large workforce of slaves to western Kentucky. He was also active in state and local politics. The amply proportioned brick house is one of the oldest houses in Hancock County, Kentucky. It was listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1976. Now there's 2 schools of thought, in my opinion, on why that might be a historic house. The Hawk murderer, Hawk Hitler, bought the first plantation in Kentucky. This place has a good history of employment of people. Oh my God. It's always a sneeze away. Sneeze away. Let's see. Do I have C. Waitman Taylor in here? I don't. Robert Costain Beauchamp was a farmer and businessman who served Hancock County in the state legislature from 1867 to 71. I wonder what kind of opinions he had. That's a weird year. What happened in those years? What's going on in those years? He eventually owned 5,000 acres of land in this county. Beauchamp was one of the first men to introduce the plantation system of farming to Hancock County, presented by Hancock County Fiscal Court. Reverse description. What the fuck? Hold on. Dude, this is Kentucky's fucking fire, isn't it? This plantation was one of the first in Hancock County. It was a self-sufficient community with several kilns to make bricks for other buildings, a blacksmith shop, loom houses, and a dairy. One could also say the same of Auschwitz. Fairly self-sufficient area. Hold on, there's where I gotta find this. If you find a grave, if you want to go kick this fucker's grave down. By the way, I wonder, where is it? Robert Costain Beauchamp. Death, 9 October 1884, aged 84. Hawesville, Hancock County. Burial, memorial ID, this one. Okay, so if you see this, you can go visit the grave of the first plantation owner in Kentucky. I don't know why you would go there to visit this grave, but you could go there if you wanted. He, I think it said at the top of his production, he had 1,000 slaves, I think it was, on the plantation. He was one of the biggest plantation owners in the history of Kentucky, one of the first ones. He said, "You know what the land of the free needs? Fucking whip cracks." I don't even want to be on that fucking ground. You know what I mean? I was just like, oh fuck, can we just burn that down? Like, what we're sleeping here is where the slave master slept, in the same room. What the fuck? It's a sneeze away in Kentucky. The sign that I read earlier, where they talk about the plantation, it says nothing about the black people enslaved there. Not a fucking word. He was just a gentleman farmer with 5,000 acres. I'll tell you what, he hated hawks. I think that's sufficient. But did I get my point across? I have no respect for the people over there. It's too much sus at once. Just imagine getting elected to office, and like one of the most notable things that you go to do legislative wise is just, I wish people could kill hawks more. Why? I feel like there's too many of them. It's like it's literally not racism, but it's still that same vibe. I just think there's too many blacks down here. Why? I've seen too many of them. The census says there's literally one black man in the entire city, and he lives on the edge. When I said there's too many, I said there's too many. My son didn't surrender at Antietam and get hanged by that Yankee piece of shit just for me to have to put up with this nonsense 20 years later.